Hey guys, how y'all doing? I am here to give you guys my final recap and final thoughts on RWBY Volume 6, Episode 13 or Chapter 13, whichever one that fits for you. Yes, you heard me right and clear, loud and clear if anything. This is the final episode or chapter of RWBY Volume 6. Now, I'm, like I said, here to give you guys my final thoughts here and there, so if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it at the beginning after the opening that Neo and Cinder are on their way to go to Atlas, but we see to it that Neo is able to camouflage an airship into Atlas military ship somehow, and looks like to me Neo improved her abilities quite a bit. Even Cinder tells Neo something that, someone asked me if I believed in destiny. And you know what? I still do. And she's referring to Pyrrha before she killed her. And I'm thinking in my mind, gosh dang it. Enough with these Pyrrha references, dude. I miss her so much already. Okay, aside from that, we see to it that the Atlas military and everything else at the base right where RWBY is at are like in trouble by Grimm, not to mention the big Leviathan. And we see to it, of course, that RWBY is happy to see Blake and Yang safe and sound, and they decide to go take on the Leviathan. Although, like, the Grim Reaper says otherwise, but we see to it that Blake says, no, you said that a huntress is supposed to protect people, and we are going to do that job right, And we see to it that Maria decides to relent and let them do whatever, and we see to it that RWBY has an idea or plan to, like, try to take on the Leviathan. And later on, we see to it with the help of Jean and Ren working together, using their powers all together to try to not get attracted by Grimm. We see to it that RWBY uses Weiss's semblance or power whatsoever to go in front of Leviathan, etc., and try to use her silver eye powers. But eventually she remembers all the nice times here and there, but the sad times ends up disrupting her. Later on, I think because of the relic that it's attracting the Leviathan, we see to it that RWBY shouts out the Jinn to help, but she says, I don't have a question for you, but I'm asking if you could, like, buy me some more time. And the Jinn's like, just this once. I would do you this one solid favor, and that's it. No more after that. Although, I will be honest with you, that was pretty much an A pull, honestly, but it is what it is. Aside from that, RWBY uses her silver eye powers to freeze the Leviathan, but unfortunately, the Leviathan could still move and was about to make a giant attack. But the woman in the giant robot suit comes in after sacrificing her right arm to destroy the Leviathan. Therefore, RWBY thanks her for her help and apologizes for all the trouble. And we see to it that after I think she saw RWBY's ambition and wanting to go to Atlas for a good purpose, and seeing how she put her life on the line, she decides to tell RWBY, like, you know what? I'll let you guys off for now. Just go. And RWBY's like, you serious? She said, yeah. I mean, it's not a big deal if I say one of our ships went missing. I mean, it's not a big fuss whatsoever, And we see to it that after the aftermath was pretty cool. They're on their way to Atlas, and we get to see Atlas too. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one scene as well. We get to see RWBY's mother in this chapter or episode, and dang was she pretty. I can't say anything more, and I'll guarantee I would not try to, like, spoil you guys with the thumbnail. Guaranteed that. I mean, I'll be sure not to include that, but I'll put in some semi spoilers of the thumbnail, of a different thumbnail. I've been doing the best I can. But aside from that, we see to it, of course, eventually they do reach Atlas, and it looked really, really pretty. Even I was, like, blown away. I'm like, whoa, dude, that place looks really awesome. Not gonna lie, I thought something different was gonna come about, etc., but it looks really pretty. But unfortunately, when they got there, we see to it that they see an entire Atlas fleet, and Crow's like, it looks like they're getting ready to go to war or something. I'm thinking in my mind, I think that is the case, because we do see big airships and their weapons getting ready to engage, etc. And we see to it that the chapter or episode ends off there and the credits roll. We see to it that there's a post-credit scene, which I'm really glad I stayed for it because I knew that there had to be a post-credit scene somewhere here and there, you know. But aside from that, it was pretty awesome. Also, forgot to mention that Oscar did say he didn't land the pilot himself. He had some guidance from Ozpin, who has been watching over the kids despite leaving them in many episodes ago, honestly. And you all know what happened, if you guys kept up with it, etc. But aside from that, like I said, there was a post-credit scene where Emerald was trying to talk to Mercury and maybe apologize to him of what happened between them before. But we see to it that Mercury was not focused on that and looks at Salem doing something. And we see to it that Salem, on the other hand, ends up having to like create a Grim, monkey ape-like Grim with wings on it. And we see to it that Hazel tells Mercury and Emerald this saying. There's an old saying long ago. If you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. And we see to it, it looks like Salem created a lot of Grim, and it looks like Salem is gonna create more along the way. And it looks like to me she's really gonna get ready for war. So I'm guessing the Atlas military might sense a major threat from Salem possibly, and is getting ready to like go to war. And it ends off with Salem screaming in total rage to create something bigger or something whatsoever, possibly. So yeah, this episode looked really simple here and there. I mean, like, I'm very sorry if I was disorganized with the recap, etc. But aside from that, it was a pretty fun episode. Now, to get on to my final thoughts on Volume 6, which I'm pretty sure you guys might be waiting for. This volume right here, I guess it has its ups and downs. I mean, like, when it comes to Adam Taurus, you know, I really wish he might have a bigger role. But I'm pretty sure if you guys know Adam very well, he got killed in last chapter or episode, which really sucked. I was hoping that he might have more of a role to play, but instead, like many people say, he is nothing more than abusive ex-boyfriend or something, etc., which I was hoping that he could be a little bit more than that and might have some redemption. But I guess too much hate and what he's been through and what Blake did to him, he's gone crazy over the edge. And whatever the Rise wanted to do with him, they just threw him to the side. And aside from that, this thing, the Jinn, you know, I mean, like, she only had a couple screen time in this volume, and that one time is just answering a question, showing up, and then she shows up in this episode to save RWBY, give her the time, and says, I'll give you this one freebie, and that's it. What the hell whatsoever. And Salem, she barely had any screen time, but it looks like to me maybe next volume she might have some screen time too. I was hoping that like she might have a little more role to play, but it looks like she already is playing a role to create a giant army, that is for sure. But aside from that, Cinder and Neil, nice to see them, but they didn't have much screen time, and they just had a little fighting, sparring argument whatsoever. What just happened with Roman Torchwork, and Neil decides to work with Cinder to get revenge on RWBY, and they end up getting ready to go to Atlas thanks to Neil's powers whatsoever. That kind of thing. And let's see here. Yang and Blake make amends after how many episodes of chapter? I don't know, but yeah. And Maria Clavera, pretty cool that we get to see her as a Grim Reaper, and you know, seeing RWBY's mother, even if it's only a couple seconds, was still awesome. But aside from that, Ozpin having to leave the group and barely have any role to play, kind of like I'm a little upset about that, but I don't know. Writers decided to go along with that. So yeah, there might have been a couple ups and downs with RWBY and her friends, and then like some other stuff here and there that might not be too like important, all pretty too simple and etc. And I don't know. Here's another thing. How is one person could grow so tall end up being so short in the end after they get old? Makes me wonder about that. How's that even possible? I mean, Is that how the world of RWBY works, or is that something else? Aside from that, maybe some other issues along the way that I may not be able to remember, just like old people turning short somehow, and then like Adam Torres, I thought he might have a bigger role, but I guess not. Salem did not have much of an appearance, especially her teammates or circle whatsoever. But maybe next volume she might have a bigger role to play. As Hazel said, you want to get things done, you gotta do it yourself here and there. And some things kind of became somewhat wasted time here and there, but it is what it is. So kind of had some major ups and downs with like RWBY and her crew having to go through a journey, and then they finally reached Atlas towards the final episode, honestly. So pretty much, if I had to summarize Volume 6, it's just like RWBY and her crew like are trying to go to Atlas, but they ran into some obstacles and find out certain truths about Ozpin's secrets whatsoever, etc. But yeah, and Salem, well, yeah. Like I said, and repeating myself over and over again, had some ups and downs, but hopefully next volume it might be action packed. Who knows? But we'll just have to see. I mean, like hopefully Volume 7 will show up around 2019 fall, like it did like with Volume 6, and maybe possibly much more with the other volumes back then. But we'll have to see. We'll just have to wait for the announcement of like RWBY Volume 7, see if they either will appear this year or possibly next year. Depending on how they want to do this or something, it all writes down to that. So until then, I will see you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the volume as much as I did, even though there might be some issues and problems that I've been looking into and that people have been looking into, and I decided to analyze it myself. But still pretty fun, although like some things that kind of bothered, but so until then, I will see you guys in my next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out, bye bye. Toot toot.